afternoon, ladies, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. My name is Felicia, and I'm the owner and founder of Shoot Fire Fitness, the compassionate and smart fitness and nutrition coach, helping primetime women move with power and purpose throughout life. So, today is part 4 of the series that I am doing called Why You Can't Lose Weight. Today we will be talking about the other side of that relationship, energy in equals energy out, and needing to create that caloric deficit. And looking at why, what movement, the exercise that you do matters, how your body uses energy matters. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, got my words kind of garbled there a little bit. So if you are watching live on Facebook, I would love for you to send me some heart emojis or just say hi or whatever, but I'm going to just jump right in. Okay, just as kind of a disclaimer or a caveat, this this series is titled Why You Can't Lose Weight. I do want to acknowledge that there may be some medical condition that you have with thyroid, whatever that your doctor has shared with you that might make it difficult, but maybe not impossible for you to lose weight. So just keep that in mind. So this is the kinds of things I'm sharing is sort of basic general information. I do want to emphasize that I'm just really just kind of skimming the surface, ladies. But hopefully it will still be useful to you. And if you want to dig deeper, just send me a DM and I'd be glad to have a chat with you and see how we can apply some of these tools and techniques and principles to your life in particular. Okay, a recap of where we've been with the different sessions. The first session, which we did a couple of weeks ago, was the effectiveness of willpower and how the body works evolutionarily, that's with via evolution against our weight loss efforts. And something that I referenced that I would strongly encourage you guys to get and read is this book called Burn. And that's a lot of the concepts that I'm going to be talking about come from this book. The second session, which we did last week, we talked about the basics of the caloric deficit. Remember this relationship here. Energy in related to energy out. In order for us to get to that caloric deficit, energy in, that's the food that we eat, has to be less than the energy out. That is the energy that our body uses on a daily basis. So that's what we talked about last week. We talked about the basics. We talked about carbs, proteins, and fats and how the body uses them and which one of those cause weight gain. So if you missed the first or second session, go back and take a look at those. They are posted in the Facebook group, and I do also have them on my YouTube channel in a playlist. So make sure you take a look at that if you missed it. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the second part of this relationship, the energy out. And another way you can think of that is energy expenditure. I called it energy out, but it's basically the energy that your body is using on a daily basis. The energy in, again, are the calories, the food that we intake to allow us to stay alive. Okay, before I jump into that, I want to just kind of do a quick aside on something that I learned this week that was kind of, I don't know, illuminating, but here's the deal. I had posted a recipe for banana oatmeal cookies in the Facebook group, my Girl Get Your Sexy Back group. Thought it'd be interesting for us to try out this new recipe. I never tried it before, just saw it in the magazine. I thought, it sounds really healthy. They're cookies, so let me just try it out. And I had a bunch of ripe bananas, which is what you need. So I did try it out, and as we had some discussion about the cookies in my taste test, which I did live in the Facebook group, it occurred to me that really, as we were talking, it kind of emphasized some of the things that we talked about in the first session of Why You Can't Lose Weight. is the fact that food is more than calories, food is more than energy. But having said that, that is the intent of food. You know, food brings us pleasure, brings us joy, is part of socializing. It can be comfort, it can be so many things. And one thing that kind of threw me about this recipe is that they were called cookies, and as I tasted them, I was thinking, these ain't no cookies. But then as I continued to eat them throughout the day, they kind of grew on me. Um, I would not call them cookies. I would call them banana oatmeal energy chews because they have oatmeal in them and a good source of sugar and carbs. So that is what I would call them. And the way I would use them, the way that I am going to use them is that it's a quick snack that you can have on hand to kind of help you feel full and to satisfy your hunger maybe until the next meal. You know, you can take them on your errands or your hikes or walks or whatever and pop them in your mouth, and they're chews. They're kind of chewy, and they give you energy, and they're tasty. But are they slap your mama good tasty? No. But then everything doesn't have to be slap your mama good tasty. And that's the thing that kind of came to my mind with those cookies. Okay, so let me jump off of that. I didn't mean to go into all that detail. But today's topic, how your body uses energy matters. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so we are talking about, again, this side of the equation or the relationship, energy out, or you can think of it as energy expended. There are three ways that our body uses energy. So I think this will be kind of illuminating. I didn't realize this until I delved into it, but 10% of the energy that we take into our body is used for digestion. Okay, so there's 10% for that. So that's going to be a given. Then 60 to 80% is used to when our body's at rest, when we're sleeping, when we're just sitting. And you can think of that as your basal metabolic rate, the BMR. So that's 60 to 80%. The energy for physical activity is only 10 to 30%, which I'm not sure most people have that understanding that even though we can control 100% of the energy that comes into our body in terms of food and so forth, and the choices that we make, we only control up to 30% of the energy through physical activity. So we can only impact that number up to about 30%. Of course, if you're an elite athlete, then you know that number is different. But for the general population, only 30% of those calories are at our disposal for controlling. So, having said that, what difference does it make? The bottom line is it should inform your workout efforts, and it should help you understand that the real opportunity to create this caloric deficit to impact this relationship is more on this end, energy in, the food that we take in, and less here. But we can impact it here. So let me share with you, before I jump into some graphs I want to do for you guys, the key takeaway here is that exercise is not an effective tool to create that caloric deficit. And having said that, how you exercise is critical, because if you can only impact 30% of that, you want to make sure that you are doing the best things possible to impact this side of the equation, energy out. So what you do matters, and you're only going to be able to impact it up to about 30%. Okay, let me show you guys something that I think will be kind of interesting to you to help you understand this concept a little bit better. And let me see how I'm doing with time, because my intent is to keep this to about 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to show you a relationship. We're going to, over here on the, I believe, y-axis is energy. We're going to call it expended. That's the right side, the energy out, and this is activity. So this is all the activity you will be doing during the day. So this is the energy that you use with the body at rest. So we'll say at rest. Okay, so that's at rest. Historically, it was thought that as we increased our activity, we could increase the energy expenditure. And that's the understanding that a lot of people have. For instance, if you think that if I get in 20,000 or 30,000 steps per day, then I'm really going to impact that side of the equation, that's energy expenditure. But research shows, and again, information that is delved into in this book shows that this is not accurate. Rather, it looks like this. So this is energy expenditure, and I'm going to abbreviate, and this is activity. And again, this is at rest. And really the way that it works is that as we increase our activity, this levels off, and the energy that we expend at rest even declines. This is called the linear model at the top, which is not accurate. Hope you guys can see that okay. If you can, let me know, and I'll drop a graphic in the group. This is the constrained expenditure. I'm not going to try to write that up there because my marker's running out. The bottom line is the constrained expenditure model, which is the more accurate way of our body using energy, meaning that as we increase our activity, what science has shown is that our metabolic rate goes down, and there is a constraint, there is a limit to how much energy our body will use as as we increase activity. So instead of that line going straight up like that, it goes up and it levels off. So what does that mean for you? It means that, again, exercise is not a good lever for creating that caloric deficit. Does that mean exercise is not good? Absolutely not. It has so many benefits in terms of your heart health, building muscle, building your immune system, helping your mobility, so many benefits. So this is not the message I want you to get here. You want to get your exercise in. The standard recommendations are 150 minutes per week, moderate to 75 minutes per week, more upper level exertion activities. So you do want to keep doing your exercise, but if you're looking at your exercise as a way for you to, quote, lose weight, then that's not the way to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because we do have a fourth part of this series that I'll be doing next week. But to kind of wrap up with what we shared today, what I wanted you to glean from this is how your body uses energy matters. And the way we have been taught, or the classical model for how our body uses energy, has been what we call the linear model. Research has shown, science has shown that that is not accurate. The way the body uses energy is a constrained expenditure model, meaning there is an upper limit to how many calories our body is going to use based on our activity. And there's all kinds of adjustments that your body makes, which I'm not going to go into all that detail here, and I know it wouldn't be appropriate. Again, I'm just kind of giving you guys an overview. So I hope that has been helpful to you. I do have an opportunity for you to kind of delve into this a little bit more. I have a self-tabulating audit of common factors that hinder your weight loss that I would be glad to share with you. So if you just drop in the comments below that you'd be interested in having it, I'd be glad to get that to you. So I am going to go ahead and close for now. I'm going to just see if I have any comments or questions on Facebook, but I'm coming up on my 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. And you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.